So being what one would call normal, that doesn't exist. And I think honestly, most people nowadays um, are pretty much under, at least in the cultures that I've been around, pretty much understand that there is no such thing as normal. I mean, literally back in the 90s, that was something that seemed to be spreading quickly. It seemed to be something that people tended to embrace. You know, the whole there is no such thing as normal and be yourself. And more so now, definitely, that is the case. My experience in life has shown me that a lot of people are totally cool with and understand that there really is no such thing as normal, just be yourself type of mentality. However, in practice, that's not always the case. Now, I'm not one to point my finger and say, "Hey, practice what you preach." No, but I'd like to point out that a lot of people will say something, but in actuality, whether they realize it or not, don't really believe what they're saying. Even if they think they believe it, it's kind of like the actions speak louder than the words type of example. So yes, so normal. Yes, we probably most of us agree that there's no such thing as normal. But yet, I'll go out to the supermarket, right, and I will um, I will tend to not follow society's rules on a proper behavior and etiquette. Now, please keep in mind that I use my manners because I like to. I think it's I like it. I think it's. I'm not going to say important to use good manners. No, 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 no. I just think it's important to make sure I'm not making other people uncomfortable. And using manners tends to put people at ease. So that's just a tiny example. But what I'm trying to get at is that if I'm in the supermarket and let's say I see a kid, and I think the kid would find it funny if I was to make a silly noise or a silly face. Usually, I'm not going there, and it has nothing to do with fear of looking not normal. No, it's because I'm reading the body language of the parents. Usually the mom and the kids in the supermarket that I experience. Sometimes the dad, sometimes both. But yeah, I'm going to read the parents' body language, and then I'll decide from there how to, if I should, try and get the kid to laugh real fast or not. And if I can read the body language, kind of feel the energy, and if my intuition tells me, yeah, go ahead, it'll be fine, then yeah, I definitely will. Recently, I was in the supermarket, and what did I do? I saw this kid, and I was reading the situation. People already checked out, and they were kind of getting their stuff together, and for a couple minutes, and I made a duck noise, and hey, you get to see me demonstrate my duck noise. I can make lots of animal noises, and I'm not going to demonstrate all of them, but I will demonstrate the duck. Hope this goes well. All right. Whoop-dee-dee. I made a duck noise. So, yes. So, in a public setting around a bunch of adults, here I am, looking like a normal guy, and then, boom, belting out these loud duck calls. I really don't give a crap who's around. Nope. Um, there are going to be certain situations. There's certain situations where I'm not going to do that. But most of the time, in most situations in the supermarket, I'm going to do that if I feel that the kid is going to think it's funny, they're the right age, And again, I have to read the parents, make sure it's okay first. So yeah, I made the duck sound. It was great, and I do that. Not all the time, but the whole point, the whole point of this is that most people tend not to do that. Now, look, I'm not saying that that's because a lot of people want to go and do silly things, make strange kids that they don't know laugh in front of their parents. No, I'm saying that there are probably a few people out there, a small percentage maybe of people who would find that they'd want to do something like that, but then they choose not to. Don't want to look weird. Don't want to look strange. What if people think I'm not normal? But I thought it was normal. There's no such thing as normal. But But yeah, people, they are tend to be, from my experience, overly concerned about what others are thinking about them, particularly in public settings. There's this internal pressure and external pressure to fall in line and be normal, follow the rule. Now I'm not saying go breaking laws, but what I'm saying is society has these norms, and a long time ago, I put that out of my thought process. Um, I have the information in my brain, so I know what's ethical, unethical, legal, illegal, appropriate, not appropriate for certain situations, rude, not rude. All these like different ways, different criteria to define things. But when it comes to what's normal, most of the time it's what most people do in that situation, and that, in my opinion, is for the birds. Another example, besides being silly and looking like a fool in front of a bunch of adults and not caring what all the adults are thinking, man, that guy's freaking weird. Well, guess what? I'm having fun. That kid's having fun. So, and you can think people are weird. You're actually judging yourself, but it's all good. It doesn't bother me. That's fine. You can think I'm weird, and that's fine. That's good. I am weird. Big deal. There's no such thing as normal, remember. So, another example, if there's a long line, do you really think I'm going to stand there in a long line? Now, I'm not trying to say, hey, I'm too good to stand in line. I'm saying I don't freaking feel like it usually. I don't feel like I will wait. I'm patient, okay? I'm very patient. This has nothing to do with patience. This has to do with looking at a specific moment in time. I'm at a place. Let's say I'm at a pharmacy and I'm waiting in line, and there's like 12 people in front of me. Now, 12 people is not a lot. However, in a pharmacy, 12 people is a lot because it's going to take a while. I'll probably be here 20 minutes if I'm lucky. If not, it could be 30 minutes or something like that. So I'm looking at a 20 to 30 minute wait, most likely, to wait in line to get some prescription. Well, I'm not going to stand there like a robot and wait for 20 to 25 minutes. No, no. Mm-mm. I'm going to probably sit down in line while others stare and point. Now, I'm not saying that it's like really extreme where there's pointing and staring and all that kind of, no. I'm just saying that there's going to be some subtle like glances in my direction, maybe a little bit of like a strange looks, they're probably thinking, man, that guy's weird. He's sitting on a dirty floor. What the hell? Well, yeah, the floor's probably dirty. So, so big whoop. So my pants, the ass part of my pants are going to get a little bit dirty by sitting on the ground. I'll wash my hands after. But yeah, so I'm going to sit there and I'm not going to give a shit if people think it's weird. Who's to say it's weird? The person making the judgment says it's weird. And why do they say it's weird? Oh, I don't know, because nobody does it. Well, I'm doing it. So big deal. So I'm in the minority because I choose to sit down instead of stand in a long line. Hey, my back's feeling, maybe not great, but my leg's back. But basically what I'm trying to say is it's more comfortable to sit there than to stand there for 20 minutes. So I'm going to sit there for 20 minutes no matter how foolish I look. So after saying all that, I just want people to understand it's okay to be yourself. Just because most people do something a certain way does not mean you have to do it that way too. Do what you feel like as long as you're not breaking the law or imposing into somebody else's free will. As long as you're not interfering with someone else's free will and you're not breaking the laws, go to town. Go to town. Hell, I even once used my jacket as a placeholder in a long line, and I went and sat down in a chair. This would be at a government building for getting your driver's license, that type of environment. So I'm waiting in line. It's going to be a long wait just to get like a ticket and find out what you're doing so then you can go sit down and wait for them to call your number. It's a long process all in all. So one of the shortcuts I'm going to do, or I did once, it's not like I do this all the time. It's not my thing or my routine. It's just I did it once. I put my coat down to hold my place in line, and then I went and sat down. And then when the line moved up, I would go up and move my coat over, and I go back and sit down. every 5 minutes or so. So basically, I'd rather sit down in a comfortable chair and then every 5 minutes go up and move my coat up than to stand there for 30, 40 minutes in line. I could do the sit down thing too. Yeah, you don't have to do exactly what everyone does all the time. And it's not something that it's not a big deal. It's not. This isn't a big deal. This is a little deal. But when you add it up over a period of years and years of all these situations, you actually just kind of feel the environment and decide what you want to do based on the environment and what you feel, instead of just watching everyone else and saying, okay, I will fall in line. I'm just trying to help people understand that if you can be yourself more frequently, it's going to benefit you in many ways. And in the future, I can get into more details about what those benefits are, etc. But I just want you to understand that it's important to be yourself and not just do it because everybody else does it. And a lot of times when people are just following in line and doing what everyone else does, a lot of times they're not thinking about it. They're just it's kind of like the way the mind works. You just kind of go with the flow, like in a way. But I challenge you to stop and push the pause button and look at your environment. Go to the present moment, boom, and just be like, all right, here's my situation. What would I prefer to do, regardless of what everyone else is doing? So yeah, that's just a couple things for you.